So Kevin Durant hasn't spoken to the Brooklyn Nets in weeks. So shout out to Nets Income at Nets Daily for this information. Always shout out your journalists. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Kevin Durant has not spoken with the Nets in weeks. So let's get to it. So it's been referred that the franchise's current situation is as destructive in the podcast. And it suggests perhaps more firmly than other pundits that Durant could indeed lead. Okay, Murdock said, according to Nets Income, the vision is on the verge of crumbling. It didn't have to be this way, he said, summing up the team. And it's kind of ironic. Kevin came to reconcile relationships, build relationships with his BFF, and it's not working out. It's doing the exact opposite. You've juxtaposed that with Golden State winning. Now you have reports that Kyrie's looking elsewhere. I made some calls. Kevin Durant hasn't talked to the team in weeks. I don't think Kevin is confident in the front office right now. I don't know if he's at the stage of leaving, but there's a big uneasiness not only from Kyrie's side, but KD's side. And Murdock reiterated reports that Kevin Durant, who had in the past recruit free agents, isn't even doing that for the Nets right now. At least right now, he's one of the guys who doesn't want to recruit, isn't in the position to recruit, or doesn't feel like he's in a position to recruit whether you like that or not. And at the center of it, Murdock pointed out that multiple times Nets' relationship with Irving is that there's a beef that he feels that the front office didn't grow to understand Kyrie, whatever that means. I wouldn't push back on that. When a guy leaves for 2 weeks at a time, Kyrie earns the lion's share of the blame. But I think KD believes that, hey guys, you didn't understand this guy. You didn't try to figure out where he's coming from. Still, Durant believes that the Nets didn't support Irving, particularly when they decided not to play him at all in October after he refused to get vaccinated, like all but a handful of NBA players, then brought him back in October. That's just how he feels. Hey man, I brought this guy in, him and Kyrie. The front office didn't do enough to support him at the time when we needed to support him. And worst part over, Murdock points out the Nets' decision to dump assistant coach Adam Harrington, and he also was the director of development. And that was a huge negative for Kevin Durant because Durant and Harrington go back to Oklahoma City. Harrington was Kevin Durant's shooting coach from when Kevin Durant was a young little, I guess cub, you could say, before he grew into the lion that he is. And that's the thing, that they got rid of Adam Harrington, who was very close to Kevin, and he was Kevin's guy. And that's a big ripple effect about how Kevin feels about this right now. He's still in the figure it out mode, but there's some fire that's being stoked that's made him reevaluate the situation with what he stands. And to be honest, I have like two places. Kevin Durant's about rebuilding his legacy. Can we agree on that? That's what Kevin Durant cares about. He wants to stop being stressed out and being like made fun of basically for going to the Warriors and basically saying his legacy's been ruined. I think the only way he becomes good in the public's eye is if he either joins the Trailblazers to help Damian Lillard, another loyal guy, finally win a championship, or he goes back home to DC, because then you would be like, okay, that's him being a homer. Let's go home. Let's go back to where it started. Okay, it's not working anywhere else. Let's go back to where it started, and that would be, DC. He's a suburb boy. Okay, and I agree. Those are the two teams that I feel like if he went to, nobody would be mad. If he got traded to if he requested a trade to the Trailblazers and was traded to the Trailblazers, I think nobody would be mad at him. Everybody would be like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Damian Lillard and Kevin Durant, we've been wanting that. Let's get this ring for Damian, okay? And I think no one would be mad at that. I think the bigger deal would be the Wizards, because if he went to the Wizards, no one would ever hate Kevin Durant anymore, because especially if they kept Bradley Beal. Because imagine Beal, Durant, and I assume they would keep Kristaps. Because if they traded Kevin Durant, the Nets would be going into a full-on rebuild again. And they probably would want like a bunch of the young guys on the roster instead of taking on Kristaps' contract. So I do think that's the right thing. If they're obviously waiting for the Kyrie situation to either blow over or blow up, and then whatever happens there, I guess, is going to happen. I just think the whole situation is just so interesting. That's where I want to hear your